So welcome lads to Belfast. Two guys that I've gigged with outside the country and they've just landed in Belfast together at one time. So welcome Marc Jennings and Mr. Eshaan Akbar, who people will remember from the podcast, the famous clip that's went out now to do with the turkeys.
Well, you did the impression of the
yes,
or the turkey.
I done the turkey. I wasn't doing an Indian. I was doing a turkey. Dinde, as they call it in France. But yeah, no, it's good to have us in my city, lads. And we're going to do a quick wee tour just to let you see about the divide and the way things are. And what a time to be in the country when there's a bit of race riots going on.
Race riots going on. You know, I got the call that there's stuff happening.
Do you want to do a gig up in Ballymena?
Come along. I was like, yeah, sure.
And Ballymena, like, they put themselves on the map there. You know, like, their claim to fame before this was Liam Neeson's from her. Now they're fucking claim to fame is they're burning people out.
Well, there's some going on in Larne last night as well. I'm getting a ferry back for that.
Are you? Are you on the ferry?
I'm on the ferry, yeah.
Ah, very good.
In Larne?
No, but they moved the people from Ballymena to the leisure centre Larne, so they burnt the leisure centre.
Right, fantastic.
So like no hotel's going to take anybody now. They're going to be like, do you know what? We can't let you stay here. Oh, well then that's because.
Is that why I couldn't book a hotel? I had to stay in student accommodation.
Is that what you stayed?
Student, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I had to do.
And see in the student accommodation, was there many people in the student accommodation that couldn't get accommodation elsewhere?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you notice it?
Together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know that Belfast is turning into it. Yeah. Well, where we started, we're going to start the tour here at St Anne's. You see, there's like a funeral happening at the minute. Somebody's getting buried. Hopefully, it wasn't nobody from Ballymena. And it's significant building. I was telling you not that a couple of minutes ago that the first time I was in St Anne's was last year with the kids, and my kids were walking through the city centre, and they were like, "Can we go in there?" And I'm like, "No." And they were like, "Why not?" And then I had one of them moments in your head where you go, "Yeah, why not? Why haven't I ever fucking been to it? It's in my city, a massive cathedral." And I went in, it's fucking lovely inside. And then obviously in January I went in and seen a concert in it, Hans Zimmer songs and thing. But
why would you not have gone in?
Because it was always seen as the Protestant cathedral, and growing up you were told the Protestants were your enemy and they were you didn't mix with them, you didn't go to school with them, you didn't do any of that. So I never felt the need to go in there. Yeah. And I used to be intrigued about it because at Christmas they do a thing called the Black Santa, right?
Fuck off.
Yes, I swear.
There's a plaque for it.
There's a plaque for it there.
Like Zwarte Piet, they do in Netherlands.
So they do the Black Santa, and it's just like the Reverend in there stands out with a black cloak on, collecting money for the poor. No.
Did he ever?
I don't know. We need to check that out. But he called himself the Black Santa. Still happens.
What does Black Santa do?
He just collects money for charity. So he stands out there with a big barrel and you put money in it.
You didn't say like he steals presents. That would be horrific.
So St Anne's Cathedral was always, it just seemed to me somewhere that we didn't go. Right. And then went in and it's lovely. Now the whole thing about the history of it, when they built St Anne's Cathedral, on the side of it is the largest Celtic cross in Ireland, which is a massive Irish symbol.
Yeah.
Catholic symbol. Yeah. And the reason why they put that on the side was to try and make it more appealing to Catholics or Irish, and also to stop them from attacking it.
Okay.
The stone that was used in the building, 32 counties of Ireland, they used stone from every county when they built it.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. So they did try and make it more appealing to people in the country by doing that, but then they put the coat of every arms of the British Army that served here inside it, so everybody was like, fuckers, do you know what I mean?
So it's got like every single...
coat of arms of every, yeah. So basically, but it's a beautiful big cathedral, it's a big part of the city, and it has a big needle on the top of it and stuff, so...
I cannot wait for one day for it to turn into a mosque.
Yeah. And then they'll burn it, That's the fucking ironic thing of it.
Inshallah, we will do it.
They didn't see that coming, did they? They were worried about the Fenians taking it, now it was the fucking... the infidels.
We are coming for you.
Very good. But yeah, no, look, Belfast is very compact. I always tell people this when they come here. And the reason being was it was like a ring of steel. You couldn't just drive in and out of the city. When we came in as kids, you went through a stadium turnstile to come in and you get searched. So Belfast hasn't had a chance to expand like other cities, even though it was a big merchant sort of industrial city, you know? What's that?
Someone's melt's not on this BB.
Do you not like that?
I think
Do you hate that noise?
Yes, I also think it's...
I love annoying people with that, you know what?
I didn't know it, so you would get searched and it...
Oh, you get charged like, and had a ring of steel around the city because the IRA would come in and blow it up because the IRA's ideal was hit the economy.
Yes.
Hit the economy, hit the business, so it can't be run as a British city. Do you get what I mean?
Protestants owned all the businesses.
No, not even, that wasn't even the case. It was just, they just hurt the economy. That was the whole point of it. That's why like the Blue Canary Wharf up in London, it was hit them financially. You know, that was the idea of it.
They went for the Twin Towers.
Is that why they went for them?
Yeah.
There you go.
For the half of the economy.
Yeah. So, like, that's why it hasn't expanded. No, in the memo. So there's still a lot of building, and the Belfast starting to sort of find itself again and build up. And there's two main roads out of the city here. One's the Shankill Road, and one's the Falls Road. The Falls Road's about 7 miles long, the Shankill's about 5. And what basically happened was, all the linen industry that was in Belfast, the factories were built up in these working class areas, and all the houses were built. There were wee small 2 up, 2 down houses for the factory workers, and people rented them and lived in them. And the streets went from the Shankill to the Falls right through. But in 1969, so I don't know if do you know much about the history, Mark? Do you know a bit?
I listened to a lot of the songs and then listening to Say Nothing on audiobook recently.
Yes.
Filled in some of the gaps.
So you're filling in some of the gaps, but
Halfway through, so I know
Eshaan, you know nothing.
I know basically nothing. My only bit of knowledge is I was on a bus once going into central London when they did the NatWest Tower bombing, the IRA.
Right.
So I remember the bus shaking. And my ex-girlfriend, one of her great ancestors is Henry Joy McCracken, who was the founding
You told me this.
the United Ireland movement or something like that.
Yeah.
He's an Irishman. So that's the only context of it.
Which is insane that is the thing, like a connection, because when you go back 800 years when they took over the country, so they took over the country and everybody thinks over here it's a Catholic and Protestant divide.
Yeah.
That was manufactured by the British for here. That was all, because that wasn't always the case. And like when you're talking, there's always been rebellions against the British. And 1798, it was Presbyterians
Right.
who didn't have the same rights as settlers, like Church of England, Church of Ireland,
Right.
Anglican settlers that was put here. They had all the rights. They could own land, they could be politicians. Whereas the McCracken family, they were a big, rich family, but they didn't have the same rights. They were treated like Catholics, where they couldn't own land and they couldn't be politicians. And so the Presbyterians got together and tried to outthrow the hand of England from this country.
Right.
And that was called the rebellion. And they weren't the mass of people, so they needed the Catholics, so they joined up with the Catholics. And like, the Wolf Tones is a massive rebel band. Wolf Tone was a massive Presbyterian, and he was in charge of that whole rebellion.
Right.
And so that's what people don't get. Like you're talking about Henry Joy McCracken, they were Belfast. Him and Anne McCracken, his sister, are buried not that far from here. Their house, called Clifton House. It's now a big char that's just up there, and they're buried at the back of it. Henry Joy was hung in the middle of Belfast in Cornmarket
Wow.
when that treason went on. And after that rebellion, they decided to try and give Presbyterians similar rights to the English Protestants and the settlers and the planters. And that's where the divide started to happen between Protestant and Catholic.
And Presbyterians are already here.
Presbyterians were already here.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I mean, we were pagans, and then Christianity came, and then, but there was different faiths. Yeah. Now, what basically started to happen was, there was the War of Independence, 1916, and a group of rebels joined together, and because England was at war with Germany and world wars and stuff like that, they seen an opportunity to try and take the country back, and they done the Easter Rising, and it didn't work out for them. And what happened was they killed all the leaders, and it made them martyrs. And it rose up a movement here, and like Sinn Féin, the political party, came about, and so it changed. It had the opposite effect of what they thought.
Right.
And then there was a civil war. Then England decided to hand back 26 pieces of the 32 pieces of Ireland, and they formed this wee country up here called Northern Ireland, which is meant to be Ulster, but Ulster has 9 counties, but they left out Donegal, Cavan, and Monaghan because the divide wouldn't have been greater, if you know what I mean, in terms of Protestants per thing. Because Ulster was always a difficult province for them to take in Ireland, so they flooded it with settlers to keep it, because they always fought, the Catholics and the Irish always fought against them.
Why is it that in every bit of land, the north is always more more aggressive and able to withstand pressure than the south? Like in England, the north is stronger, just in terms of people who are willing to rebel. South Asia is always the same. North Indians are always the ones who are more willing to fight. There's something about the northern parts.
Korea.
It's called North Korea.
North Belfast. North Korea, North Belfast, same thing. There's a dictator. But yeah, so that basically, so from 1923 onwards, it was sort of like this wee country was given to the Protestant people. It was about 79% Protestant till Catholics. So they run it like it was their own. They had the shipyard, employed 40,000 people at its peak. Probably 1,900 Catholics worked in it. Right. So there was jobs for the Protestants, and they fiddled with the whole political side of it, where you didn't get a vote, you didn't get a house, and it wasn't a nice place for Catholics to live. So inspired by the sort of, there's always like a 10-year sort of gap, and then there would be another rebellion, and it always failed. And then by the 60s, inspired by the civil rights movements in America and the stuff that was happening there, the Catholics started going out marching and demanding equal rights, votes, houses, stuff like that. And the Protestants were attacking them off the road and like fearful that they're going to lose this wee country that they give to them.
Yes.
So by the 1960s, the tensions just got that high, and then it got to the stage where the Protestants then decided to start burning Catholics from their homes, which is insane that this week. There's,
and also what's going on
in Ballymena, and you have Irish people on there going, I agree with them, and you're going, Jesus Christ, this is going back to the fucking 60s again. Do you not remember this? Like, So what happened here in Belfast was the trouble flared here, and in between the middle of these houses and the streets, the British Army was put on the streets to try and counteract the trouble that was happening, and they formed individual barriers and square off the two sides, and the Protestants all came to the Shankill, the Catholics went to the Falls, and now we have a peace line that runs for 7.5 miles that divides the Shankill and the Falls Road still to this day. And the gates, there's 3 gateways, and they shut every night 7:30 between the two sides because everybody gets out of school and work and doesn't like each other. They still do that.
But that's like a ceremonial thing.
No, it's like it because see where you see things happening at the minute. A football match could go the wrong way here. There could be trouble.
Right.
So
you came up with the name The Troubles because it seems
I think the Brits done that because, like I said, they created this whole thing that it was a religious thing.
Right.
And then do you know what I mean? So they came up with the whole idea. So this is a Shankill, and what's going to blow your mind about this? If down the side you'll see the start of the peace line running along the back, or which we'll go to, but starts in the city centre and runs all the way up on the mountain. But this you can see from the flag straight away.
Yeah.
You know where you are.
Yeah.
You know where you are. You're in the Shankill, and this actually is divided in two between the two sides. So you have this half here is run by the UDA, which is the Ulster Defence Association, and then when we get to the street up here and you go up to the top half, that's run by the UVF.
What do you mean run by?
So the paramilitaries have areas that they run, where they racketeer and they run the businesses and they take money off people, and there was no police service in these areas. The paramilitaries run the areas. Do you get what I mean? The police weren't welcome within the working class areas, and the paramilitaries run these areas. They racketeered and they told the people what to do, and that was the way it went during the Troubles. Catholics didn't live here, and Protestants didn't live in the Falls. That was just the way it was. It was divided up. And whenever peace was signed in 1988, the loyalist paramilitaries, they opened the prison gates and let everyone out. It didn't matter what they done. IRA, UVF, UDA, no matter what you done, you got released and you got your sentence squashed, part of the peace process. So the loyalists started feuding between themselves over power because they were like, well, what's going to happen now? Because are we not needed? And these men, this is all they ever done. So they started fighting each other. And so now the Shankill's divided in two. And this is run by the UDA. And you'll see the buntings and everything changes just at this part.
I mean,
is that bridge like this?
This is it. This is the divide between the Shankill Road. So we're now leaving UDA and we're going into UVF territory. So even within the Protestant areas,
UVF have got traditional Turkish barbers.
Yeah, you'll have them everywhere now. Do you know?
The UDA get a KFC, don't they?
They used to have a big mural on the side of it, and it had to be taken off.
It's fucking all this bunting. You have to understand. Like I'm from, in England, all this bunting, to me,
Coronation.
It's not even corny. It's like scary.
Yeah.
Because that's in Kent where all the reform voters are.
It's like Pall Mall or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or some shit.
So it's a mad place. I mean, you look on the right hand side there, you'll see the Queen. And then if you look behind her, you'll see King Charles.
Oh, wow.
So
Jesus.
you get an idea of how you have to understand these people were given this wee country and told this is your country.
And it's the Queen that did it.
So well, they don't want to say they're Northern Irish.
Yeah.
They want to say they're British. But if you meet an Englishman, a Scotsman, or an Englishman, they'll tell you they're English, Scottish, or Welsh. But you meet a man from here, he'll tell you he's just British.
Well, I mean, now we've got an Englishman, a Scotsman, and an Irishman, but I don't think that's how they imagine it.
No, it's not the way they would want it.
The way they imagine
Yeah.
the story to go.
A modern update.
Yeah. But so it's an identity thing for them. So people are like, why do they mark their territory? They used to paint the curbstones, they used to have all the flags up. This is their identity. So that's why they're like, we're holding on to this as much as we
Is
can.
that still prevalent now?
Yes, completely. There's no Catholics live here still. You know, like it's even though we have peace, this is still at the
So if
forefront.
I were to walk into, McDowell's Pharmacy or Steve,
You should be all right. You should be all right.
Hello, fellow British person.
They'd love that.
They'd go,
Yes,
you are one of us.
They would put a sash on you and make you march up and down the fucking road like in July. But you would be all right.
Like Muslim or fancy Muslim.
But yeah, is it a turban or a size turban? You know what I mean? But the last time I had Big John over here, we went into the Rax Bar, and that was the first time you were here. Look, he was there. He filmed it.
I've never been in
And
it.
it was the first time he'd been in it, and like I was like, I don't want to go in, and then they came out and they were like, no, we want you to come in, and I went in, and it was weird walking in. Like it's mad. You think like just somewhere in Glasgow or fucking London, you can't go.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like a bar that wouldn't like you can't go there. It's insane to think that, but that's still the way it is in this city, you know.
Right, wowza.
And there was over 3,700 people killed in the Troubles, which doesn't seem a lot when you think of like Palestine and different things that's happening at the minute. But it is a lot of people when you consider this is less than 1 million people live in this country. Do you know what I mean? And it was all over. Just basically, they were saying it was religious, but it wasn't. It was. This is what's happened from Britain dividing Ireland, conquering it, then dividing it, and this is the mess that they're left with. And what do? They can't just fucking give it back. So the deal is, when it was signed in the 1920s, that if the vast majority of the people in Northern Ireland want to be part of Ireland again, it'll go back. And when they divided it up, it was 79% Protestant, 21 Catholic.
Yeah.
Today, right now, it's about 50-50.
Right.
But I,
The move of Protestants from what we now know as the Republic of Ireland to Northern Ireland, was there a great movement? Because that happened in India and Pakistan and Punjab, where Sikhs had to leave Pakistan and move to India.
a lot of people did leave. Some people went, I'm not staying here. A lot of people emigrated, went around the world. A lot of Catholics moved out, and because Catholics would get educated, they found it hard to get jobs. So if you got an education here, you left and you went and got a job somewhere else.
Right.
So there's a lot of like the highest judge in the land here is a Catholic. You know, there's a lot of people went other places around the world where that didn't come into it, and they've done the job, and now they've got the experience, and they come back and they're getting the top jobs.
Were you asking if people from the Republic moved here?
Yeah.
No, they wouldn't have moved here. A lot of people would have moved to the Republic.
Okay.
Like Andrew Maxwell's family are from Belfast,
Right.
and they moved to Dublin. They were Protestants, but they moved to Dublin because they didn't want to be here for the Troubles.
Oh, yeah, okay.
You know, so it was hard for everyone. You know, we had this belief that the Protestants had this great life because they had jobs and votes and stuff like that, but the poor Protestants in the Shackle were as poor as us in the Falls,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, of course.
So, but we didn't see that because you didn't mix with them, you didn't associate with them, you didn't see them. So you just didn't know. It was the unknown. You were just told what you were told and you believed it. You know, and that's what they done. They divided us to make us think that this is it. So it's still a mad place, but they're now at a stage where the population's 50-50, but I think even if it goes to 52, because Catholics traditionally have a big family, and there's a lot of intermarriages and stuff now, but I still don't think they'll make it a united Ireland if it's 52%, because there's still 48% of people here that see themselves as British. And
Yeah, wow.
like you seen what they've done in Ballymena by burning homes when they wanted people out that they thought were raping people. What are they going to do if they think they're going to get the country taken off them?
Yeah.
They're going to go out and go mad again. So we're sort of in the stage now where I think the British are letting it ride out and see how far they can push it we'll give them peace, we'll give them money, we'll divide it up, everything's 50-50 in government, and we'll ride it out until it gets to the stage where kids go, I don't want to fight him because he's a Catholic, you know?
Did Brexit make any difference? Like, cause
Completely fucked. It fucked it up. Because it did start a bit of thing where people were like, what do you mean we're different? Because the protocol came in and there were protocol fucking campaigns, and then there was like riots and stuff because they were like, no, we shouldn't be any different from Britain. Why are they making us different? We're not. And then any like cross sort of community or cross country, even down south, bodies that was set up, the loyalists were like, no, this is them trying to get rid of us. You know, just recently they tried to put the Irish language, which has had a massive revival, into the bus station, and the loyalists are like, no, this is what they'll do. They're just trying to take our culture away. They're trying to implement all the Irishness and everything Ireland, and you know.
Even though they sound as they do and everything, they just do not see themselves as Irish.
No.
Wow, even now.
Even now. I mean, it's evident just you see in the road, like all the flags, and it's like an oversaturation. And it's funny because when we bring English people here and they're like, what the fuck's all this?
Yeah.
You know?
It's like a street parade.
But does that just feel like I'm in Loch Hall or something?
You know? Which in Scotland does have places like that, which is insane.
But I do like this side, we've got Chinese and Asian cuisine,
well, look,
Turkish products.
the joke used to be that the Shangle was 99% Protestant, 1% Chinese, because the Chinese always came here. They were the first to come here, and we love our fucking Chineses.
Yeah.
But it used to be fucking, and they got away with being here. They had businesses that paid racketeering and they were there. But now you'll see a lot more. There's a nice wee club in there, the Rangers Supporters Club.
Look at the car outside, you know.
Yeah. So it gives you an idea that these are the old sort of streets that go down.
So see the streets be like either side of this?
Yes.
Same in the falls, like, are they, so it's all just the areas Protestant?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, and there's no crossover. Like, don't get me wrong. If the Catholics started moving in here, they'd be burnt out.
But now, even now?
Yes, yeah. It's like
things like the dividing line, and so everything this side.
It's Protestant.
People call it the Shankill, but it's not just this road; it's the whole.
Well, this is the Shankill. This is West Belfast, but West Belfast is a big Catholic area, which has like the Falls Road, Andersonstown, all that there, which is a big Catholic area. But if you were to come here, Eshaan, you would more than likely live either in South Belfast or in West Belfast, where I'm from.
Right. And why is that?
Because the Catholics are like, we were burnt out and all, so why would we be like that?
Right.
Racism wouldn't, it is a thing, but it's not as big within our areas. We sort of have, we're like, no, we want people to come in.
Right.
Don't get me wrong, there's people in our areas now are starting to go, fuck the immigration. We're like, fuck up, because we know what it was like to be put out for who you are and what you are, so don't do it. So this is one of the roads that leads between the Shankill and the Falls. And see straight ahead, you see the cars, they're just going through these gates at the minute.
Yeah.
They're on a remote control. They can close at any time. So they can divide it, and that's part of the peace wall. And they close it tonight at 7:30, they will close. Like when they close the gates, you have to drive into the city, across and up.
Yeah.
You know, so say you wanted to go to somewhere in the north of the city here, you have to go down and up when they close the gate. And you see them houses, you look over there, you'll see the railings just above that house and stuff there. That's a continuation of the wall. So this was the main area where it was burnt down in '69. This is Bombay Street and stuff like that. So all these were wee houses that went across, back and forth. And this is where the epicenter, this is where the trouble started. And this here is the peace lane. And there was 3 divided cities in Europe: Berlin, Nicosia, and Belfast. And Belfast is still the same, and so is Nicosia in a sense, which is in Cyprus, by the way.
Yeah.
We'll see, we'll get out, we'll just have a wee look at this. So, if you imagine 1969, these were wee houses that run through, and there was factories all dotted about, right? And then what happened was, the British Army came in and they set up wee small barricades in between the streets, and then eventually it became this, which is the peace line. So they knocked the houses down that were burnt, and they built this wall. And traditionally it only went up to the top of the green. In 1990,
Did you say there were houses there?
used to be houses right through, from the Shankill to the Falls. These were just wee small houses, streets and streets, and there was loads of factories, and that's where everybody lived. So they started burning them. So they pushed all the Catholics to the Falls, pushed all the Protestants to the Shankill, and then eventually this, which was a temporary barrier, turned into this actual wall that runs for That's 7.2 miles.
Wow.
There's 3 gateways in between the two. Shuts every night at 7:30, and it finishes on the mountain up there.
Wow, isn't it?
So it gives you an idea of it. In 1998, when they signed the peace agreement, they decided to make the wall bigger. You'll see burn marks on it. You see down here, petrol bomb attacks.
Yeah.
And see that pole just above there?
Yeah.
That's Catholic houses. They built the Catholic houses right up against the wall. Whereas on this side, you can see the distance. This is all. So when the Catholics were throwing anything over, there was nothing to hit.
Yeah.
But all the Catholics were built right up against the back of it. And they were constantly under attack.
Wow.
It's insane. It's insane. But the wall used to have a lot of sectarian graffiti on it, but these are all like wee tags of local artists, and this was a thing set up where they tried to bring Catholic and Protestant kids together and do art on the wall to cover up the sectarianism.
But before 7:30.
Yes, before 7:30. Oh, they didn't get back
Yeah,
then.
I didn't finish that fucking painting.
But you'll see ours are on the wall: security, separation, reality, fear, Israel, Palestine, Shanghai, Falls, Nicosia, Berlin. You'll see it on the top there. So it's insane, you know.
So at no point do people look at like Israel, Palestine and go, what are we doing? Does nobody ever go,
Here's the thing. Who do you think I support?
Palestine?
Palestine, just because of the humanitarian, right? In my area, there's Palestinian flags everywhere.
Yeah.
So because I like Palestine, what did I do like over here?
Israel.
Yes. Because you like Palestine, we're gonna like Israel. It's insane.
Just on that basis?
Just on that basis. I mean, you could be an actual Stevie. You could be an actual sort of fucking middle of the road person, but then you pick something like I picked Bangladesh.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we support Pakistan, you know, or India.
Yeah.
Just because you fucking like them. And
It's so stupid, isn't it? It's so stupid.
it's insane. It's insane. But people come here and see us and they can't believe it. Like, it's still here.
And it's active. That's the thing that threw me, because I thought when you said the gates closed, it was just a ceremonial thing.
Like they do in India and Pakistan, and they do the thing.
and
Yep.
stuff. And because
We do that too, but it's like, yeah, up your fucking dick. More than that, no, traditional that way, you know.
that's what I thought, but no, it's an active thing. And the fact that the Catholics wouldn't move there now.
Yeah, and it was dangerous. See, what people don't understand, it was fucking dangerous because a lot of people come here. Like, I've had people coming from Africa and they're looking at me and they're going, well, they just look different. And I'm like, no, we talk the same, we look the same. And they were like, how did they know? And I went, the area you were in.
Right.
So the loyalist paramilitaries, the IRA's idea was to get rid of the British. So when the British troops came onto the streets to divide everybody in '69, the IRA reinvented itself and says, this is a long war. We're going to fight the Brits on the streets. The actual army's here. We're going to fucking fight them on the streets. And they wanted to fight the British. But the loyalists were set up as a cheap way for the government to use Protestants here to fight against the IRA.
Yeah.
And what they done was the loyalists wanted to instill fear in the Catholic community. So what they would do is drive in, back of a motorbike with a gun, go into a shop and shoot people. So then the Catholics went, fuck, scared, and they wouldn't join the RA. And they just assumed everybody in there was IRA.
Oh, IRA, yeah. The
So-
way they assume all Palestinians are Hamas.
100%.
Yeah.
The same way it was done here. So it was very dangerous. A friend of mine's aunt was shot dead in a chemist shop just through those gates. Philomena Hanna, 1992. I remember I was 12 years of age. And they went into the chemist, the pharmacy shop she was working in, and they shot her dead. Like
Just
it's
'cause?
a girl, because she was Catholic. And she was shot dead. She was seen as a legitimate target because she was Catholic. And I remember that one, because there was loads of murders, but I remember that one because it was my friend's aunt. Yeah. And on top of that, our wee girl was making her first communion, and I was like, she's just a girl. You know, in my head, I was going, so I was saying to my dad, I was going, but she was a girl, what was she doing? You know, because in my head, I just thought all it was the men, it was all fucking paramilitaries, do you know what I mean? And that was installed in them just to install fear. And that was the way it was run. So it was a hard time. So when people go, what do you mean about areas? That's how the areas came about.
Are you surprised that even in 2025, that people still hold on to these divisions?
I'm not surprised because I grew up on it and I know what it was like.
Had the depth of feeling?
But I feel a lot more safer now. Like, I can go in and out of areas. Yeah.
Is that because you're Paddy McDonnell, though?
I don't know. It could be.
But also, it wasn't that long ago.
It wasn't.
I mean, 1982 is not that long ago.
No.
That's
I mean, 1988 was when peace was signed, but there was still sectarian killings, and then they started killing each other even. You know, so there's still sectarian violence happens, but they brush it under the carpet and you don't hear about it because they don't want people to know. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
So they'll put it down to a robbery or they'll put it down to a thing, but it can still happen. There's still sectarian divide. There's still, but I go in and play clubs in different areas and all now. Like I was in, and I do feel safe getting in because I know the guys that run them and I know that they won't let anything happen to me. Back in the day, I don't know what way it would have been as a comedian. Would I have been able to do that? Or would it have been a legitimate threat? I don't know.
See, day to day, just to be like somebody that just, lives there or lives over there, and then they're just going into work in the city centre of day. Like, how much do they see nowadays? Do they think much of it, or it's just a case of like?
I think when you grew up, and like when you try and tell your kids about it, they're like, what do you mean? It's the same way as you tell your kids that fucking I didn't have a mobile phone when I was younger, and they're going, what do you mean?
It's hard to imagine because you're just walking about. It's just like a normal city,
yeah.
like whatever. And
But then you come to this and you see it.
like, that all this stuff was happening here.
It's insane. So we'll go into the falls and we'll see a wee bit in there to let us see. But
Very interesting.
yeah.
Very interesting.
I'll be able to breathe a bit easier now we're going to this next bit.
Yeah.
That's typical Scottish. Like any time I've took Scottish people out, it's always been one side or the other, and like, oh, I feel all right now. I feel all right now.
So, when you say the majority of Scots are, what side of the divide are they?
Well, it's a Protestant country, so aye,
A lot of Catholics went there during the famine.
yeah.
And the Protestant, like the Rangers supporters, shouldn't say Protestant, the Rangers supporters sing a song about the famine's over, why don't you go home?
Right, yeah.
And Celtic Football Club was set up for the immigrant Irish, the poor immigrant Irish.
Right.
So that's where the connection was Celtic and like, and I grew up, that was it. Like my dad supported Celtic, I supported Celtic. And I remember at one stage my dad says to me, it was in the early 90s, Man United was doing really well. And he was like, would you not prefer to support Man United because you can wear your football jersey into the city centre and stuff, whereas you didn't wear your Celtic jersey? Because it was a marker. Like people
How often people wear Celtic Rangers stuff now?
all the time, and they always did because you lived in your areas. Like you're driving up to Shankill, I've seen loads of people with Rangers, and you'll go on the fall to see people wearing a Celtic top, because they feel safe in their own areas.
You wouldn't walk about the Shankill
On
with
those
the top. What would tax
What would
You don't know. I don't know. I mean, I've drove down it in one, but I've never walked about in it. And as a respect thing, I wouldn't do it because it's like rubbing their nose in it. Just as a second gate. You see, look, there's a sign. Gate opening times. You see it? 6:30, 6:30, 6:30 to 8:30 during the summer. It's insane. And these were the type of factories that was set up.
Yeah.
And all the wee houses were here. So this was really poor. People came from the country. They got a house that you could rent off the factory and you lived in it and you worked in the factory. And that's how it came about. Belfast, its name is Belfast, mouth of the river. There shouldn't really be a fucking city where we are because the land isn't that great. It's very sandy and stuff like that. But it became a city and it was all industrial. And then obviously all the troubles that kicked in from it and whatever. Oh, big man. You're giving me a dirty look, but I mean, at the end of the day, I was at the end of the road before you came, you fucking root. Keep that in.
Right, there we go. Tell me more about Bobby Sands then.
Right, so this is the Falls Road. Now, can you see the difference between the Falls and the Shankill?
Yes.
What do you see?
It's nicer.
There's most people say it. There's no flags and stuff.
There's no flags,
Yes, but you'll see a lot of these gardens. So we're going to go up here to the Bobby Sands mural and we'll do a wee bit on it. And this is probably the most famous mural in the north, and the murals were used as a way for like advertising. It started with people just writing on the wall, up the IRA, up the UVF, fuck the Pope, fuck the Queen. All them things came about, and then it came these murals, and they say that Belfast is one of the biggest outdoor art galleries.
And Sinn Féin have got a bookshop here as well.
This is Sinn Féin's headquarters, yeah.
Okay.
So this used to be a factory up here, see, but it's turned into apartments now.
Yeah.
So this is Ross's Mill. So that was the idea of where it came about. So you had the Falls Road, mainly Catholic, and obviously I told you in 1969 they started burning the houses, which was just up here, Bombay Street, the other side of the wall. And then the IRA set up and they renamed themselves. And they called themselves a provisional IRA. And as I said, they said, we're here for the long war. There's not a 10-year campaign until we're all dead or until England's out of Ireland. And they set about. Now, Bobby Sands, well-known man, was an IRA volunteer, provisional IRA. He actually grew up outside Belfast in a place called Rathcoole. And they were burnt out for being Catholics in the 1960s.
Right.
and they got a house in Twinbrook, which is at the top of West Belfast. And obviously experiencing being burnt out for his religion. His friend actually went on to be a brigadier in the Loyalist paramilitaries, who he grew up with.
Right.
But then obviously being burnt out. So he went on to join the IRA and became a volunteer. And he got arrested and sent to jail for having explosives, a handgun, and they had tried to blow up like a furniture shop. And he went into prison. Now, when you went into prison for the IRA, when you went to join the IRA, this is what I say to a lot of people, it was a voluntary thing, you didn't get paid.
Right.
But you were told you were either going to get shot dead or you're going to go to prison for a long time. So the prison camps here and stuff were set up, and they would have went into prison. There was internment, which is people were brought into internment camps without trial or put on ships, and you were fucking put in prison who they suspected of being members of the IRA. And what they done was they decided to build a new prison, and they built one called the H blocks, and it was the most sophisticated prison in the whole of Europe, and they were the shape of a H, and that would be a wing, and then a control panel. And that was in Longcash. It used to be an RAF base, and they burnt it down in the early 70s, and then they built a new prison. And they changed it. What happened was you were no longer a political prisoner. You were just a criminal.
Right.
So when you went into the new prison, you were put on a prison uniform and you were made to do prison work. So the first guy to go in there was a guy called Brendan. No, it wasn't Brendan Hughes. It was...
Rogers.
It'll come to me anyway. But he went in and he says, I'm not wearing a uniform, and if you want to keep this uniform on me, you'll nail it till my back. And he was the first one to say, yes, I'm not doing this. So they threw him into the cell, all beaten, and he had a blanket, and that was the start of the blanket protest. Where they refused to wear the prison uniform.
Okay.
And then they refused to do prison work. They refused to do anything or to conform to any prisoner's thing.
That wee thing on the things there's a sign.
I'll wear no conflict uniform, nor meekly serve my time, that Britain might make violence spite 800 years of...
So a lot of people think that the 5 demands they asked for was things. So Brendan Hughes, who we mentioned there, 6 of them went on hunger strike. And that was the start of the hunger strike. There was also the no wash protest, which the British called the dirty protest, where they rubbed their excretion on the walls because they couldn't slap out. Terrible conditions, inhumane. But the 5 demands was to not do prison work, not to wear a prison uniform, the right to visits from the outside world, people, educational stuff. It was nothing to do with free in Ireland. It was just prisoner stuff.
Human rights, yeah.
So Brendan Hughes and 5 other prisoners, IRA prisoners, went on a hunger strike. And after 56 days, the British government says they would give in to the demands and that they were sending paperwork for that. One of the guys was extremely sick. He was about to die. And Brendan Hughes didn't want him to die knowing that a deal's being done tomorrow. So they called off the hunger strike. And the British withdrew the offer.
Right.
And it looked like a defeat to the IRA. So the IRA Army Council outside were like, don't do that again, because that looked like we were defeated. And they're like, well, we're in here on our own. What do you want us to do? Nobody's doing it. Bobby Sands took over as OC in the prison, and he decided that we're going to do another hunger strike. But he says, I'm not telling another man to do it. I'm going on first. And nobody's coming on for a couple of weeks, so that my death isn't at the hands of other people. So I'll die and then somebody else is starting. So there's not a group of us doing it together. And he went on hunger strike first. And while he was on hunger strike, the MP for Fermanagh, Tyrone, there's 6 British MPs, that seat became available. And they put him up for the election, and he won it. So Bobby Sands, while on hunger strike, became a member of British Parliament. So all around the world, governments, politicians were going, how can a member of British Parliament die on hunger strike? For 5 demands, which are humanitarian demands. So it gave massive attention till that. And the IRA seen that, and we're like, hold on, through politics we can get further than blowing up somewhere. So that started the whole process of a political change in the climate here, where Sinn Féin were going to go down the road. It was in the 80s, that was 1981. Okay. Bobby died after 67 days in a hunger strike.
Wow.
And Margaret Thatcher was the Prime Minister at the time, and she was like, I'm not giving in to the man, they're all going to fucking die, I don't care. But he went on. There's 5 streets.
Pleasant lady.
5 streets around the world named after him, in different countries. And the mad thing about it, a couple of years ago, Aston Villa, who he supported as a boy, they took up the manufacturer, Kappa. And Kappa's main office is in Rue Bobby Sands in Paris. So on the Aston Villa top was his name on every single one of them.
Wow.
Rue Bobby Sands, the label on side has his name on it.
That's sick.
It's cool, yeah.
So it's mad that happened, isn't it? But he was a poet, an Irish language speaker. He was a revolutionary, but he was ahead of his time. But he sacrificed his life. If you speak to his family, his son, they probably don't have the same thing for him as other people did because they lost a daddy and whatever. They never, you know. But he was willing to give his life. 10 people died on hunger strike. And eventually they did give in to the demands, but they never officially says that they did.
How old was Bobby?
Bobby, I think he was 27, 25, something like that, in and around that. So he was a young man, like, you know.
They were all dead young at that point.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think the oldest one was in his 30s, you know. But 10 of them died, but he's the most famous of them all. He's the first one to die. He was an MP. And that set about the whole change in the politics here then. So the IRA, Sinn Féin decided, let's go this route. We're going to get further with politics and started contesting elections and stuff like that. But still, to this day, Sinn Féin don't take their seats in Westminster because the people don't want them to, because they don't want them to recognise British government. But, you know, it has went down that avenue, and now the First Minister of this country is a Sinn Féiner, which is insane. But, you know, that's how far it's came. But this is the most photographed mural, and probably he's the most famous hunger striker of them all. You know, but to starve yourself for 5 demands, like, think about it.
Yes.
I'm starving now. I'm not starving, I'm hungry.
I'm hungry, yeah.
But you know what I mean? It's like, it's insane, but it was that bad, the conditions were that bad that they felt.
Well, I mean, a lot of people credit Indian independence to Gandhi's hunger strike.
Yeah.
It got to the point where it was just too much and the British just about started negotiating.
Yeah.
He was on the precipice of dying.
Yeah,
Gandhi didn't die, but Bobby Sands did.
yeah. You know, and 10 of them did. And it was a big defeat for the British because it did highlight the whole situation here and it did make people stand up and listen. And eventually they did give in to demands, and the prisoners were like political prisoners. They were able to wear their own clothes, have their own groups within prison, do their own thing, have visits from the outside. So all that stuff get implemented.
The thing is, that someone who was like born and raised in England, but from like a South Asian background and knowing the history of British colonisation, and then coming here and seeing what the British have done here, it's a head fuck for me now.
Yeah,
In terms of my Britishness and my Englishness and my colonial background all in one place, because my heart is going out
Yeah.
to Bobby and the movement is fucking crazy.
yeah, it's insane. But we're at the stage now, so that, as I say, it's the most famous poster and stuff like that. So what we're going to do, we're going to finish off and going to bring you up to the epicentre of where it happened, like it was burnt down. And we'll finish off there. All good. This is Clonard Monastery here. It's a big Catholic monastery. Very famous because they sent the Italians over to do the marble, you know, and the marble and the tiling and all that there. It's very ornate inside. And there's a massive pew underneath it. And during the World Wars, when the Germans were bombing the buildings out of Belfast, because we had the shipyards, all the Catholics and the Protestants sheltered underneath. And in 1969, they tried to burn it down. And a wee lad at 15 get murdered here.
Oh.
Jared Macaulay. He got murdered here, trying to protect it. And he was the first one to die in the Troubles. The present-day Troubles. So, like, people had sheltered in there, and then they tried to burn it down. You know,
What was his name?
Jared Macaulay.
And was he like Catholic or Protestant?
He was Catholic, yeah. He was Catholic. You see the peace line down the back there? And like this here street, Bombay Street, this is noted as the epicentre. This is where it started, the burning of the
Kashmir Road. Wow.
That's Kashmir, yeah. And Bombay Street.
It's Bombay Street.
Yeah,
Thank you for bringing me home.
there you go.
Even you feel at home in the
Yeah.
A lot of the streets down the road were named after wars, like Sevastopol Street and stuff like that, Balkan Street and stuff like this. And then around here is Bombay and Kashmir, so it's all places where the Brits took over. So these memorial gardens were set up, and you'll have them in Protestant areas and Catholic areas, and it's a better way than having like a mural for an IRA man on the wall. So after the peace agreement, the IRA agreed to demilitarise things. Right. So these gardens were set up. The people in the area pay for it and maintain them. And it's a way to remember civilians and IRA people that were killed in the areas. But this one here, on the front, you see the phoenix on the front of there. Then you have the 4 provinces badges, right, which is an Irish thing. But the phoenix is there because that's the official badge of the Provisional IRA. So what they say is from the houses burning down on Bombay Street, see we had Never Again up there, you see Fane Jared Macaulay. Yeah. That's a wee lad that was murdered, drowned at the thing.
Yeah.
So this is the birthplace of the Provisional IRA, so that's why them badges is on that gate.
Why was it called the Provisional IRA?
Well, there was the official IRA, and then they became the Provisional IRA.
So kind of, okay, like a guerrilla group almost.
Yeah. So they were like, and they says they were different from the official IRA. The IRA took different things. And then there's been diluted IRAs from the provisionals. You had the real IRA, the continuity IRA, the I can't believe it's not the IRA.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's fucking, there's been many forms. But that's typical British thing. Divide them, till they can't get them, you know. Well, we'll go in and see the garden and we'll finish up here. The Clonard Martyrs. And then you'll see pictures now. We were on the other side. Do you remember I said, do you look at the pole when we were on the other side? And there was a big gap. Look at where these houses were built right up till the peace line.
Yeah.
And see if you come over here, the way I told you they were extended up. See the extra security they used to have on the back of them? Like bird cages. There was an American here one time says to me, oh my God, they all collect birds. I was like, no, fuck's sake. This is the fucking stop the powder bombs coming in. But you'll see the wall, a lot of different things. Civilians murdered by loyalists and British forces during the course of conflict. Look at the dates. 1920. So even from, there's always been sectarian divide and killings. And then you look at the ages of people. 40, 25, 30.
Yeah, 18.
4. Mary Wilson, 1922. 16. You know, so you see these. And then I told you about my friend's aunt.
Yeah.
And she's going to be on here. Let's see, she was 92. Philomena Hannah. Here we go.
Yeah.
26-year-old. Shot in the camera shop just in the front of the road. So literally they drove into them gates and shot her right there and then back in there again. You know, so she was a legitimate target. And then these are Clonard Martyrs, which means that they were members of the IRA.
Right.
But I showed people the ages of them as well, you know. Like, they're fucking young. They weren't all real old people.
Yeah.
And you'll only get on here everything, but look, it dates back to Sean Gaynor in fucking 1920. So the conflict's been going a long time, but the modern one, which is seen from 69, started here. And this is where we're at now.
Wow. That's amazing.
You know? Over there, you see a plaque above the door over there. That's Tom Williams. He was the last man to be hanged in Belfast.
Oh my God.
IRA man for shooting a policeman. 1942. He's 19 years of age. But there's photographs that show you. You'll see the bottom, and you see the soldiers standing there, and you'll see like buses and like a divide.
Yeah.
And then there you see all the houses burnt down, and then so that was the start of all of it, and then it eventually became that wall.
And maybe this isn't the episode or whatever to discuss this, but like
Anything goes. Anything goes.
Bloody
We're
Sunday.
comedians.
Bloody Sunday.
We're comedians. Yeah, go ahead.
In England, like we're told one version of events. What was that, and what happened? Basically,
What I was saying about here, like the civil rights movement, in Derry, they had a thing like gerrymandering where, like even though it was a massive Catholic city, there was no Catholic politicians.
right?
So they rigged the voting so that Catholics didn't get into government. So the Catholics up there decided to go out and march civil rights, and they would march every Sunday, civil rights movement, and that day they went out, had a massive thing, and obviously there was people that threw stones at the
police.
Well, the police and the Brits when they seen them. And then they went out, and it was a paratroop regiment, and they shot dead those people in Derry. You know, and it was from the top, and it's been proved from the top. And back in the day, they says, oh, they were shooting at us. And then they had the big, massive inquiry into it. And then the British government came out and apologised. But that same band of soldiers done the same in Belfast. And that's called the Ballymurphy Massacre, where they shot about 7, 8 people here. So they done it to try and, the British government must have thought, if we shoot a couple of these, they'll stop going out marching. But it had the opposite effect.
Yeah, of course.
In Derry, the IRA swelled from 100 members to like 4,000 in 24 hours after that happened.
Of course it did.
And it's called the Free Derry. It's never no-go area for British. They've never got that city back. Do you know what I mean?
Of course.
You see footballer like James McLean gets a hard time.
Yeah, all the time, yeah.
And he's like, I'm from Derry.
Yeah.
I'm not going to change my thoughts just because I play football in England. Do you know what I mean? I grew up in Derry. Family member was murdered bloody Sunday. I don't like the British Army. I'm not going to wear that fucking badge.
Yeah.
And he gets shit about it. But at the same
Too
sense,
right.
you know, so it is one of them things. And violence promotes violence. And that's what happened in this country. We don't want that to happen no more.
And how far is Derry from Londonderry?
Come on.
Get the fuck. Are you from Derry, London? You know all about it when we fucking rename it that.
As you were saying, we're comedians.
Yeah, very good, very good. You'll know it. It's right beside London Dungiven. Well, lads, I hope you enjoyed it. I know it was a really quick tour, like, but
That was amazing.
next time we'll do part 2 and we'll go into more because there's quite.
Honestly, like everything, it's quite easy to get radicalised, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm feeling very up the Raj. I've got to be
Oh yeah.
honest.
We watched Braveheart, which is a mad one.
As we said yesterday.
Yesterday was an up the Raj.
Up the Rash. You should sing a new song. There's a song that Bobby Sands wrote, which was, and he did you know this? I Wish I Was Back Home in Derry.
Did he write
He
that?
wrote that, right?
Oh my God.
Bobby Sands wrote that song.
How's the song go?
But you should rewrite it and,
Okay.
and sing I Wish I Was Back Home in Delhi.
Pakistani, mate. No, that's even worse.
But you know,
That's the worst thing that's happened on this patch of land, what he just did.
so we got you back for the Derry one. But yeah, no, it's mad. We watched Braveheart and you went, it's a fucking Scottish fucking national thing, like. Which is insane to think of, like how Scotland had the chance. I mean, we're all sitting
I know,
here,
it's-
you had the chance to do it by vote.
See what all the fighting and all that to get what he's got, and we had a vote and we was just like, nah.
Nah, fuck it. We like getting the disability allowance and stuff. Well, lads, thank you for coming on it. Hopefully you enjoyed it. We'll do part 2 again. And
I can't wait for
see it. Brilliant.
Paddy.
Watch you don't fall.